Well, thanks for staying with us here on the AM show. Welcome to the review segment of our show where we look at the headlines in the newspapers. We also touch base with our online portal, myjoyonline.com. So Ben and I would go through the papers. I've got, Ben, I have the Times Daily Guide and the Daily Dispatch.
Well, I have the Custodian, the Accra Times, Republic Press, Business and Financial Times, and the Daily Graphic.
Okay, so if I may, let's start with the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Here's what's on the front page of the paper today. APAM at standstill as remains of 11 teenagers laid to rest. We told the story extensively yesterday, Monday, and then on Tuesday as well. Also, 10 million euro e-waste management facility to be constructed in Accra. No record of blood clots linked to COVID-19 vaccinations in Ghana, according to the FDA. Now, this is such a serious matter. Quite a number of countries in Europe have held on to the what's the name of the vaccine?
AstraZeneca.
AstraZeneca.
So you're talking Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and it appears more are adding Norway, up now. Yes.
Yeah, I think about 10 or 11 European countries. But today, Thursday, there's the European. There's a certain organization,
yes.
Medicines something.
It has come out to say that, look.
No, not yet. Their report is expected later today.
Well, as of what I read yesterday on Sky News, they were actually suggesting, I think it's the EA something, that it's one of those organizations, health organizations. Yeah. And it came out to say, following suit to what the WHO has said, that there was no evidence that, these blood clots were being, or as a result of, using the AstraZeneca vaccine. And yesterday, again, as I interacted with Dr. Bediakon and Dr. Siedu, both of them indicated saying that, look, even paracetamol, some of the commonest things we take, they have their own contraindications, which include these. And if you have millions of people taking these vaccines and you have 22 people out of the millions getting it, that is an insignificant, it is 0.000 something, you get it. So blow this out of proportion, well.
Yeah, I'll pick the story of this report that's expected later this afternoon, that Germany and France are particularly waiting for that report so that they can make a decision and move forward. I would pull it up from the BBC in a bit and then share with all of you. But of course, the FDA, that's our regulator, that's saying that they do not have any record of blood clots linked to COVID-19 vaccinations. I must also add that even those European countries do not have evidence, as the World Health Organization has said, that is directly linking the blood clots to the vaccine. But I guess the reports will clarify things a bit later on.
Mama, even from what I hear, getting injected breaks a muscle. It breaks vessels, blood vessels, and all of that. It can trigger anything. It depends on the makeup of the person, the person's underlying health issues. So many things can come together to create clotting in one person and not in another. So even the injection itself could cause so many things.
Yeah. All right. There's another headline here. Tension brewing at Upper Discov. Irate youth attack Queen Mother and others. This was also covered in our news yesterday in the center spread. That's the tragic incident of the children drowning in APAM, the burial and the funeral, actually. And, well, listen, we know that this is tragic. It broke all of our hearts. And I guess particularly when the children were being laid to rest, I looked at the pictures and the ages and I was totally heartbroken. But they've actually defied a certain order here, because if you look at the center spread, and I don't know if we have the center spread of the Ghanaian Times so we can show, there was a specific directive, not the front page, the center spread. There's a specific directive from the president that said not more than 25 people could do the burial. This is not the church service or the ceremony that essentially sees them off. This is burial. But you can actually see, I don't know how many people, maybe you can do the counting. And this is the cemetery. As they were laying them, they were finally laying them to rest.
It was quite a scene.
If we just zoom in on that, you can appreciate what I'm talking about. This is way more than the number required. Way more than the number required. Absolutely not. I don't want that to take away from the tragic incident, but this is certainly breaching the directive, like in your face right there, and that should not be encouraged. Also, Ghana, Burkina Faso to collaborate in addressing mining challenges. On the back page of the paper, Ghana, Japan signed $83,105 grants for Abrim Berase Chips compound, and I hope that I really didn't massacre that name. FGO demands policies responsive to plight. That's the Federation of Disability Organizations. They've called on the government and other major stakeholders to develop policies that are responsive to the plight of persons with disabilities to create an integrated society with equal opportunities for all vulnerable persons. They shouldn't even be making a call. We should know what is right to do because they are very much a part of the society. Then, okay, let's see. Page 3, some crime stories. Shop attendant gets 10 years for robbing students. This is the Asante Bekwai Circuit Court that has sentenced the shop attendant to 10 years imprisonment in hard labor for robbing a student nurse. Akwesi Anoche Boateng, 24, pleaded guilty and was convicted on his own plea, and his accomplice, only identified as Omega, is on the run. Prosecuting police Chief Inspector Stephen Ofori told the court presided over by Mr. Timara Diboro that Miss Tabitha Mensah, who is complainant, is a student nurse while the convict lives at Abuabo, a suburb of Kumasi. The court heard that on February 21, 2021 at about 3:30 p.m., the complainant was attacked and robbed at knife points by Boateng and Omega while walking from her dormitory to the classroom to study. And the story goes on to say Miss Mensah, they asked her to hand over her cell phone or else she would be killed. Omega snatched the complainant's Techno Spark 4A mobile phone valued at 500 Ghana cedis. Check the details out to 500 Ghana cedis, and an earpiece valued at 10 Ghana cedis, and cash of 10 Ghana cedis, and bolted. So you see, 500 Ghana cedis plus the earpiece plus another 10 Ghana cedis in cash, and you get yourself 10 years imprisonment. Yeah.
Question is, was it worth it?
Yeah, that's it. Good question. More details of this.
But the other angle, the other aspect of this would be commensurability. Act versus punishment.
Yeah.
What the criminal code says, what the penal code says. You know, for a long time we've been talking about, oh, Asamesi stole, you know,
this is not just stealing, oh.
I get it.
There was a knife. I will kill you.
I get it. But in the past, we've had these incidents where someone says, look, and it's not justifiable, but I was hungry. I had nothing to eat. I stole tubers of yam. Gets X number of months or years. You have a state official siphoning our money, our taxes. Now we're being taxed even more to the tunes of hundreds of thousands and millions. How often do we convict them? And what are the sentences? Yeah. So these are
I appreciate where
problems we must,
but for
we definitely
with this
must
particular story, because there was also the death threats, I think that the guy involved absolutely deserves it.
These people who siphon this money, they cause death to a lot of citizens. Well, they rob ordinary citizens of healthcare, of proper roads, of those sums of money they take. We lose billions every year in corruption.
I appreciate the sentiment, but the difference is the law.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because the judge is looking at what the law says to deliver or to give. Yeah.
It's not the fault of the judge. It's the fault of what our law is saying. I'm concurring.
This is what should happen to you. Then there's nothing that we can do.
Yeah.
You know.
We need to take
I guess
a lot
advocating for the laws to be changed. Well, fortunately, the new Attorney General is very open to such suggestions because he says that they are actually also looking at drafting a law or a bail that would take some kind of punishment. You don't have to go to prison for any kind of offense. So alternative sentencing regime is also what they're looking at in the future. Ben?
Let's check out some others, but I just wanted to go back to what I was indicating earlier. So I saw some articles. I can't find them immediately, but at least this one by Thomas Moore, a science correspondent of Sky News, and just the headline would be this: COVID-19 vaccine and blood clots. Every medicine comes with risks. The certainty is AstraZeneca's jab saves lives. So we really ought to take stock. There are different risk factors in
the
there.
European Medicines Agency, that's the EU's regulator. And Germany, France, and Italy have said that they are awaiting the outcome of that investigation.
How long ago was this?
Agency.
How many hours ago?
Oh, this I read this late yesterday, but this is still on the BBC's website. But the timing they gave in terms of the report was Thursday afternoon. So we're all looking forward to today,
Thursday afternoon. Oh, when they are expecting the supposed report.
Yeah, this is from the European Medicines Agency.
Right. Let's do the Daily Graphic now. Join forces to rebuild economy, Ofori Atta says. Apam drowning victims buried, double track reintroduced to ensure social distancing. And indiscipline unabated, motorway without rules. And as for the motorway, you know, I actually use it sparingly. Unless I have to go to that part of town, and I try to avoid, because the way people drive on the stretch is, and especially at night, I try to avoid it, like completely. It's crazy. Yeah. And you know, some stretches of the motorway are not lit, they are not lighted. So when you're using them, you have to be extra cautious. Then there is the case of sometimes robbers jumping out of the bush in certain pretty remote areas and, you know, coming at you. It's just crazy. But this one very briefly says, there appears to be no end in sight for the indiscipline among many motorists on the Accra-Tema motorway. On the 19-kilometer motorway on a daily basis, some motorists defy warnings to engage in activities that threaten lives and property. For 3 days, March 10 to 12, 2021, when the Daily Graphic monitored activities on the country's only motorway as a follow-up to a similar exercise in December last year, it observed that the illegal activities along the route were still ongoing. The indiscipline, and Mama, you might want to know this, maybe you've seen some of them, in the form of road diversions, illegal U-turns, I see that all the time, illegal bus stops, dumping of refuse, and some of these abubuyas can actually, they dump it in the middle, and they are gone. Dumping of refuse, farming, dangerous driving, among others, mainly perpetrated by drivers, slum dwellers, tricycle riders, and farmers. And, you know, I don't know, look at this. Just look at, if we can zoom in, I don't know, we wouldn't have page 3.
On the
but
bola,
look at this. I mean, for those of you watching, I don't know whether this can be, but look at this. Someone dumps this on this stretch of road. How do you do that?
So this is actually even tied, This has been contained, if you like.
Even the person has even done us a favor.
Scenarios where it is not contained as it is in this picture that Ben is showing that you see on your screen.
Look at that.
And it just spreads on the road. And do we need another law, a bylaw to settle that? Because sometimes the vehicles overturn, they dump the refuse on the road and they move on. And then you see vehicles
sometimes
passing
it's intentional.
over them. So
you know, coming to work, it was yesterday, even on our stretch, right? I think right before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole place was replete with, and I was wondering what happened. Obviously, well, likely it is one of these.
It was an accident.
An accident. What do? You clean up. They left it there.
That's the thing. So
I didn't notice that today. Of course, it had been clear.
The assembly later on had to clear the place up, but we can't continue to do this. Sometimes they are so reckless. You know that the vehicle is full and they are still collecting refuse.
It's all about the money, I guess. In other stories, very quickly, I'm still doing the headlines, and it appears Kidi has landed it big with Fidelity Bank. Atom. Anyway, so UK to reshape its foreign policy. I was reading a bit about that, and you know they are talking about the so-called threat from China and other, China and Russia to the interests of the UK, and the fact that they brought down their GDP contributions to global, these agencies. The US has USAID, the Danes have Danida, and the rest. So they too had to, they chipped down on their investments globally from 0.7% of their GDP to 0.5%. But now they are upping the ante again because almost actually the footprint of others and all that is maybe inimical to them. So they are reshaping their foreign policy, and it's also on the back of Brexit as well, some changes in there. But some Chinese tech giants have fallen under pressure, and this is from within. The likes of Tencent shed $60 billion from its market value as its share price slid over concerns of greater regulator policy. The likes of Baidu, Didi Chuxing, SoftBank, ByteDance, and SAMR, all of them affected. So that's it on the international front. I just wanted to take a look at this one. And you started talking about it. Watch over public purse with integrity. That's according to the Speaker. And he's also been talking about the supposed cuts to what Parliament should get. That's on page 19. Speaker unhappy with cuts in budget estimates for Parliament and the judiciary. We heard parts of that when Mamavi brought us the news. Join forces to rebuild economy. That's according to Ofori Atta. That's on page 16. And all this talk about, Mama, we took the water, we got the electricity for free. So now you must also contribute your bit. But I kept saying at the time, I've not asked you for free water. I've not asked you for free electricity. Let me pay my bit. Now, how do I know I'm not paying way more than I ought to?
Some of us were not even within the category of those who enjoy the free
We didn't even,
goodies.
You see, that's even the point. We didn't even benefit.
No.
But well, on the other hand, the taxman will tell you that, our tax regimes and all of that, sometimes you have those with the wherewithal, supposing we have the wherewithal to pay more for those without it. But
going forward, we can't continue to be putting more on fuel, because when you do that, it trickles down. I mean, everybody will experience a bit of the hardship. Our policymakers must find, and I guess it's been overused, but innovative ways. You can't do the same things all the time, especially in these times when things are hard. There are people who had very good jobs. They'll be in that category of rich people pay for the poor, but they've lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Some people have changed schools for their children because they can no longer afford the school fees. And now they are having to pay a lot more because they are still considered rich.
Page 23, I'll reserve that one, I'll come to it. SHS is inundated with protocol admissions exceeding vacancies.
Charlie.
Ghana.
Charlie.
Hey.
Charlie.
Protocol, you see what it. Anyway, when you turn to the back page, Ghana Heart Initiative donates medical equipment to 44 hospitals. So that's it.
But listen, the thing about the protocol there, I also want to say something.
It's not that simple, Mama.
Sometimes
go there.
It is your perception. I have seen people, some student who did exceptionally well, maybe 7 once, and they want to do science at Wesley Girls, and they don't get in. But somebody gets maybe, say, a 10, also chooses Wesley Girls, and say want to do home econs, and they get. But when they're telling the story, they would say, this person got 7 once, didn't get through. This person got 10 and got through. But they will not
add that.
And somebody would think it's protocol, but it's not that simple because science is highly competitive in a school like that. So you almost must get a perfect score to be sure that you can get in. However, if somebody chose Wesley Girls as a first choice and got a grade a little less than yours because you wanted to do science, that person has a greater chance.
Yeah.
If it's, because those courses are not highly competitive.
What is your real feeling about this? Because back then, in the A-class schools, many people attended from, I'll start with my school, Bishop Herman, the likes of Mfantipim, St. Augustine's, Wesley Girls, Abri Girls, and the others. The competition, I remember during my time, it wasn't even about getting 6. It was about how many ones you had. And it was very stiff. Yeah. To the point where some of us wanted to read general arts, they wanted us to go and read general science. And that kind of, if you look at the setup now, where we're supposedly trying to say that, look, let's give others who may not necessarily qualify. And mind you, there are people in underprivileged communities who are studying with Bobo, while others are sitting in an AC and with lighting and everything. But is it really serving the purpose? Is it watering down the purpose? Some people are saying that no, now you are watering down maybe a gehe which is expected to provide this, you're watering down the standards. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I beg to differ on this because I've seen people who, if we were paying and there was no computerized placement, they probably would be rejected because of where they're coming from. But we've seen people genuinely being posted to these schools, and it's made a lot of difference. Yeah. It's made a lot of difference. But listen, I just want to say, you went to an A school. I didn't go to an A school. Zion College is not an A school, and I'm proud to say that. Sometimes,
but look at
when you get a school,
look at you today.
You might think that because it's not Infantipim or Infantiman or Biheko or any of those known big ones, you would reject it and you will cry. But you can turn out well. You can turn out great. I know a lot of people, amazing people who have come out of Zion College and other schools. Yeah. There are people who go to Odogon or secondary school, who go to Methodist or any of Wesley Grammar, all of those schools that are not your A school, and they turn out fantastic. The school,
so given the opportunity, who knows what they could do?
It's a name, but the name doesn't make you. The name will not make you.
Yeah.
If you don't turn out great, the name doesn't. You know, you can have classmates and say, oh, I went to Presec, I went to Biheko, but I also have classmates, I went to Zion College. Yeah. Let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Front page of the Daily Dispatch. Mini Congress to select 5 candidates. The Daily Dispatch, first of all, in Benefson's book, he talks about, he gives some of the names who will be contesting in the 2024. This is the intra-politics of the NPP, but they are saying that Dr. Ofori Atta, the Minister for Agriculture, has confirmed a February 24, 2021 report in the Daily Dispatch that he intends to contest for the 2024 flag bearer slot of the new Patriotic Party. They're doing some analysis with all the names of the persons you see on the front page.
And it started,
There's also Ken Japan there.
Alan Chamating. Dr. Baumia, the Vice President, is there. Also, Ofori Atta, Joe Gate, among others.
For those who have said that Mr. Joe Gate didn't get a government appointment, a ministerial position, because he had said to a radio station that he was interested in contesting. Now that the paper is reporting that Dr. Ofori Atta has also confirmed, would that mean that the president's friend would be out?
No, but the point is, Ofori Atta is already in position now. Joe Gate hadn't sniffed the position yet, and he went on to say that. That's the difference.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about some schools, right? The paper is putting the spotlights on Presec, Wegehe, Motown, and Owas. You can check it out. Me, I'm not interested. If they were talking about Zion College, then yes.
Nah. Okay. Quickly to wrap with my headlines. The custodian, Ofori Atta, thanks God, Ghanaians for speedy recovery. WHO debunks AstraZeneca blood clot claims. And Akufo-Addo has genuine intentions for a Japa deal. Razak Kojo-Poku saying that a Japa deal. Anyway, Accra Times, Bagman tasks MPs not to be guard dogs of the president. But look at the caption. But Akufo-Addo begs him for support to deliver. And the Business and Financial Times, collective effort required to save economy from COVID-19 scourge. I agree, Mr. Finance Minister. He's still designated, right? Because he's not.
Yeah, he hasn't been vetted.
Vetting process. But Charlie, some of the things, well. So it is what it is. That's it with the headlines I have. And Mama, if I may just chip in from the Daily Graphics. So what they were saying, currently the heads and administrative staff of all the 16 SHSs on that story are busy with the admission process of enrolling students that have been admitted to the various schools. In all, a vacancy of 15,030 has been declared by the schools, with the Kumasi Anglican declaring the highest of 1,660. But it appears, as the story says, there's a lot of protocol going on. They are exceeding their vacancies, and it's becoming problematic. For instance, even though the Kumasi Technical Institute declared a vacancy of 816 for first years, as of March 9, a total of 940 students had completed their enrollment. Question is, what exactly is happening? If you have a copy of the Daily Graphic, you should dig into that story. It makes for interesting reading on page 23. I know that the schools don't give exactly the number, the vacant positions. They reserve a bit. So I'm also thinking, but something that, but that is not in the hands of GS, is it?
That's portion that you reserve.
But
so
this is
something
it's
for
the
us to get
schools
into.
themselves, but at some point you have to get in to find out who is pulling which string.
Yeah. Okay, well, our time is up. You can visit myjoyonline.com and explore a lot more stories there. There's this heartbreaking one, 9-year-old boy burnt to death as stepmother sets house ablaze. That's a very wicked stepmother indeed, because we know that there are some lovely stepfathers out there, but this one is certainly very wicked. It's a tragic story. You can read details of that on myjoyonline.com. It's a Wednesday. We've got AM Business, courtesy EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. But first, we have to bring you sports.